All right, fellas. It's tonight we had a little bit of a name change. We got one Hick, one Yankee, and one dinosaur. How we doing tonight, fellas? Timmy
I thought that
B,
was a
how we feel?
guest. I thought that was a
Yeah,
guest.
we
We had
do
a
have a
guest
guest. We
appearance.
got T-Rex or Velociraptor.
It's an
Timmy
Indoraptor.
Endoraptor. You better get it right.
Timmy B, what's going on, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I had a good week, and man, things will won an Indy race. We'll talk about later, and don't have to cut work. I had work last weekend, so 2 weekends in a row, so I don't have to work this upcoming week. So I'm excited to be here,
Was that
especially with our new host.
a truck race? Was it West Coast time?
Yeah, it was it's called the Western States Racing League.
Okay, because you
Yeah, I
kind of
didn't get
late,
done
and I
until
was
like
like,
midnight.
I
Yeah.
was trying to put two and two together. I was like, man, that's a late race, but
Yeah.
I mean the graphics on that, I know we'll talk about it later, but it's really hard not to believe
Real.
it's so lifelike. So I mean, it's pretty cool. Mr. T-Rex, dinosaur, Velociraptor, man, how you doing tonight?
I'm an Indoraptor.
Indoraptor. What can you tell us why you had to wear this mask?
I lost the bet because I was tricked. This trickery, tomfoolery, but I'm a man of my word. I'm wearing this mask till you tell me to take it off.
Can you, before you take off the mask, can you explain the trickery? Can you?
So yes, actually I can. Hick number 2. The question was posed, and you were teaching me about prop bets, about the national anthem being over or under a minute and 40 seconds. You said there's a country singer by the name of Mickey something. And I made an assumption that Mickey was a he, right? And so I said it would be under. And I even said, oh, he, the country singer, and you acknowledged, I believe. So that told me I never heard of this person. Therefore, I lost because it went over a minute and 40 seconds because of the foolery.
All right. I'm gonna ask you. You can bet's over. You can take your mask off.
Thank you.
And
What a little bit.
Can you play that clip for us, just for our tens of listeners, so they can understand what the trickery was, how I tricked you?
The tomfoolery.
I most
Yeah.
certainly can do that. Give me one second.
Before you go there, you guys did a little clip last week during the Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl, and I was working.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we did just a quick little Super Bowl recap, and we just talked about prop bets, and the three parts of the Super Bowl that people like to watch. It was the actual game, the commercials, and then the halftime show. And there were some bets in there, and I still have the notes. So we bet on the length of the national anthem, who would win the coin toss, what the coin toss would be, some stuff about halftime performance. Would Snoop Dogg be smoking on stage? So that was key there, if he would be smoking on stage. If would a fan run on the field, which Anheuser-Busch commercial would run first, MVP speech, and then actually was a cool one was the color of the Gatorade poured on the winning coach. So
Yes.
there's really no doubt it was victorious in all this, even though there was a scandal of cheating. It really didn't come down to that, because it wasn't even close with me winning. But let's play
see
this
the video.
Let's play this video, or this sound bit, real quick.
First bet is length of the national anthem. That is over under a minute and 40 seconds. What do you think? Who's
Oh, did it stop?
singing it? Oh, man, I knew you were going to ask that. It's a country singer, Mickey Guyton.
Never heard of them. So for that very reason, but you said they're a country singer, I'm going to say under a minute 40.
Okay, so you're going to say under.
So, but hold on a second. Can we make a bet? Me and you make a bet?
Okay.
So do you think it's under or over?
If you're going under, I'm just going to go over.
So what is our bet? If if it does go over University of North Carolina T-shirt on the show.
I won't do that, but I will wear the pink tank top from the Mario Kart Championship.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll wear that. Okay.
That's fair. All right. And so what will I have to do if I lose?
You'll have to wear the dinosaur mask for half the show.
Half the show.
Have the show.
It's too small. I got a big head, man. It's for a kid.
Okay, for the intro.
Okay.
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 I can do the intro.
All right. So I got you under. I got me over.
Write that down so we don't.
I did. I made notes. Okay.
So
All right. All right. If there was a jury out there, there was no trickery. I didn't know who Mickey Guyton was either. I didn't say. There she is, beautiful young lady.
yeah, I get that. I get that.
And like you said, I didn't even acknowledge the gender of the singer. I just kept going because I didn't know. I didn't know. What do you think, Timmy?
Yeah, so you assuming that Mickey is a male singer and you saying he doesn't take, there's no tomfoolery there. There's no trickery. There's nothing. And if there was a video clip of it and there's a picture of Mickey on there, but you could have done exactly what he did and look it up. I mean, you could tell in the video that he was looking it up. So, I mean, if you're going to make a bet, you better do some research on it. And that's what I'll tell our tens of listeners, that when you're making prop bets, that you got to do your own research before you make bets that require you to wear a Velociraptor. What is it?
Velociraptor. Sure. Hey,
Failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
I will also add that the part of the bet was cut out a little bit, but Brian, you were trying to make the bet where he had to wear a Tar Heel shirt. He's like,
Yeah.
I will absolutely not.
I can't do that. Well, I mean, I'd have to go buy one because I don't even have a shirt that color. It's forbidden in my house. But other than being the first loser, Brian, how's everything going, buddy?
dude, you took advantage of me. You knew that I was recovering, and I'm still recovering today. You know, I'm sore. I had a competition Friday, and I was still recovering come Sunday
Here he
morning.
goes, Tim. I told you he was going to be prepared.
What's this competition you're talking about on Friday?
Oh, you didn't hear?
I did not. I was working all weekend.
Oh, my friend.
Oh, we're going to the axe throwing. Yes. Tell us all
so,
about
so
it.
it did make
Athletic
the news.
ability. Here we go.
It did make the news.
Well,
Oh, it's good to hear that I made the news here. Won't you let me just tell you a little bit about what people think of me and my abilities axe throwing? Can we do that?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll just tell you a little bit about what people think of me and my axe throwing capabilities.
we got to make a rule. You got to share these videos.
No top three.
I don't understand what you want to.
All right, let's see it. Let's see what you got.
Okay, here we go, and you're going to see why.
Brian is probably the best axe thrower I've ever seen. Brian is probably the best axe thrower I've ever seen.
Hold on, there's another one.
My husband is the best athlete and the best axe thrower I've ever seen. And he might be kind of good at bed too.
Oh, there's another
Whoa.
Hold on.
We're going to edit that part.
The best client I have ever had come to Epic Axe and Throw. Hands down, 10 out of 10, the best.
How much you pay that girl?
Who's the first guy?
Tipped her well. That was Mitchell Berg. Great dude. Super guy.
But hey, I was sore. I competed. I won.
There's no video of you actually throwing the axe, just people saying that you're great.
And I'm pretty sure Mitchell Berg has not seen a bunch of axe throwing people in his life. I'm just going to say that straight up.
And that other girl, she's working off tips, right?
Yeah.
Is this before you checked out? Did you already pay the tip at this point?
Yeah, I'd already paid. Paid.
Nice tip.
There's another video that I wasn't even able to share. I couldn't get it downloaded off my phone.
That's
craziness.
I'll save that to another.
Yeah, I guess.
So
Did you win?
So,
How do you keep
axe
score in
throwing?
axe throwing? Is it like curling where you got to get it close to the middle, or darts, or
Yeah, it's a sport. Of course I won. I'm a winner. I'm a competitor.
athletic
Right?
ability?
So
Super
maybe
fan.
I lost a little prop bet, whatever that meant. But hey, when it counted, I won. You
Yeah.
took advantage of me.
Were you at that event?
No, I
No,
was.
no,
I was not.
I wasn't there
just,
either.
I just remember the whole text thread and Twitter post. My athleticism will be proven tonight. Tune in later.
And it's not proven. You just have people that you paid say.
I didn't pay those people to say that.
The lady that worked at the axe throwing place, she was paid.
She was, but
Yeah, she was on the clock.
yeah, maybe she was, but still, I'm sure she doesn't say that to all the
You can give a shout out to the place you're at.
Epic Axe, Wake Forest, located in the factory. It's a good time, man. Real good time.
Good. I'm glad you had fun though, and you didn't get hurt. I'm glad you
I did.
didn't.
He
I'm
said he
still
was.
sore. Still recovering, man.
Right side, or you throw with double
I'm
handed?
one-handed, bro. I'm one-handed,
One-handed.
right-handed, bullseye about every time.
They have
Kind of like
different
if I
weights
were
of
getting
axes, or is
softballs
it-
out of the park. Very
Do
simple.
you bring your own axes?
I do not. I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
I don't bring my own softball bat either. I like to show people up with their own bats. So that's how I roll.
It's because you never own one either.
We're gonna have to show them where to stand at the plate and not hold the bat.
Well, when we started, I failed. I wanted to give a little shout out, but I'm gonna lead into this. Today's February the 16th. A little trivia about today. Today is National Do a Grouch a Favor Day, and I think we all know who the grumpiest grouch. We all know that's right. He's currently at the happiest place on earth.
Yep,
So
sure is.
hopefully our grouch. It says everyone knows a grouch, and some of us may be guilty of being one. True. So today maybe you can find one sweet cider of the grouch. So Andy J down south, hope you're having a great time. Staying away from phone and not worrying about the real world and enjoying Mickey and Minnie. What do you think?
I think that's funny.
I gave him a call when he was on the way down there. He was in grouch mode on the way down, so he wasn't going to the happiest place on earth. But
What do you think? What do you think?
Did you say Disney World?
yeah,
Or he's at Disney. I always get them confused. Disneyland, Disney World.
Well, remember I told you we got a email from a fan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
asking for that very same topic about Disney World. Do you mind if I show you the email?
Go ahead. That's
And I'll read this to you. It says, "Dear Hicks, I'm one of your faithful tens of listeners. I look forward to Fridays when I know a new episodes are released. You Hicks are so inspiring that I'm hoping you can give me some advice.
Tim, look
My
at the name.
husband, Chris, and I frequently visit Disney World. We have a son, Israel, who is 5 years old, and my husband still says he is 2.5, so we don't get charged for his ticket. I'm so embarrassed that I don't even walk through the gate with them because I am scared he's going to get caught. I really want to know your thoughts on this matter. I'm even willing to listen to the Yankee to hear his thoughts. Thank you for the show and keep up the great work. A fan of the super fan and Hick 2, Sandy Japala."
Good old Sandy Japala.
why
So
does it say a fan of the super fan and Hick number 2? Does this person not like me?
I don't know. I don't know.
They asked for your advice though.
So my advice is, if you can get away, if your kid's small and you can get away with it, you keep doing that 2.5 and not that 5. Short little story. My youngest son, who's now 17, we went to a movie theater once, and I think it was like 12 or something like that. Got in for like half price. I said he was 12, and he was like 13 at the time, or maybe it was 9 and 10, something like that. But we go in the movie theater. He was so distraught. I had to go back out and try to pay the lady more money for us to go in, and she wouldn't accept it. And I was like, "Well, I'm leaving the money here because I'm not going to feel guilty about this all for the rest of my life."
So you would feel guilty is what you're saying if you were smuggling your kid into Disney World.
I'm not saying that I tried to, but then my son was going to give me guilt about it. So I would tell Sandy Japala that, hey, just walk in separate and hey, them Disney tickets are expensive, man.
They traveled separate. What's the difference in walking in separate? What do you think?
Who traveled separate?
I don't know. Maybe our super fan.
I'm just curious. I've never met Sandy Japala, but I thought it was an interesting email, and I appreciated them reaching out to us for advice. So, hey,
Israel. That's a creative. It's creative name. So, it was a big week for final football game of the year. I know we all love football, and this postseason has just been amazing with the close games and just nail biters. And so, Timmy, what do you think about the Super Bowl?
It was an entertaining game. It was a halftime show. I still say now there's arguments on whether it was the greatest of all time. I thought it was the greatest. I mean, that's the music I kind of grew up on. The game was close, stayed there. A lot of people complaining about calls, but I think the calls kind of evened themselves out, which people are always going to be biased on how they felt about how the calling was going. But I think this playoffs in general, we had some great games. Usually there's blowouts. At least one weekend where there's just blowouts, and we didn't have any of that. Super Bowl was entertaining as well. Squares, I think whoever won the second, we talked about that before, whoever won the second quarter also won the final, so a lot of people doubled up on their squares with that 3-0. My brother-in-law, Greg Cook, I got to give him a shout out. He is one of our tens of listeners. He's excited every Friday, and if we're late on our download, he's like, where's it at? Shout out to you, Greg, but he had a bet at the beginning of the year, and he took the Bengals to win it all. This is at the beginning of the season. They only won 4 games last year. It was a $10 bet for them to win $910.
Did he take any other teams? Was it Bengals?
Yes, so here we go with that. So he's claiming he's Nostradamus, and I said that name's already taken. We have the super fan in the building, and that Nostradamus is already taken. Well, the picture he sent me of the text, there's a bet right below that where he took the Browns as well, but he promises that's the only 2 he made. So it got going to the Super Bowl, and for our betting fans, there's so a $10 bet could turn into 9 or 10, or you could lose everything and just lose out. So I told him to hedge your bet. Hedge your bet is to make other bets on the other side, so as to at least come out that $10 bet can at least be $400, $500. Mm-hmm. So he did hedge his bet with the Rams money line, which he put like $100 on that, but his big bet, which I couldn't believe he did it, he picked the final score to be 23-20 Rams over the Bengals. It was at plus 1,200 or plus 12,000. Meaning his $10 bet he won, and of course that hit. He won 1,200 off that. Now I lost the $10 off of the Bengals winning it all, but won $1,200 on a $10 bet.
Yeah. He should probably donate some of that money to the Rams holder, to the charity of choice for dropping that extra point snap.
Well, early, yeah.
But when you're texting it, I was like, man, it's 20-16 for the longest time. I was like,
I know.
And
it was 23-20, I think, with the last 7 minutes. You think,
yeah,
somebody's gonna score before this game's over.
Well, yeah, I think a couple of us picked, the Rams to win by 3. So it was pretty good though that it came down to the final. Brian, did you make it through the whole thing?
I did. I stayed up through the whole thing.
Stayed awake the whole time, or
the whole time?
Woke up. You had your phone on. You had your phone on vibrate when you took a nap, right?
No, I promise. I watched the entire game. I watched the halftime show. I said Stafford was gonna win it like probably week 1. I think it's when I said it last. That my Rams are gonna win. And I know
my Rams.
What? I know that people are saying the refs stole it and this, that, and the other, but hey, Matt Stafford and Aaron Donald and my boys got it done. Go Rams.
Real quick, speaking of Matt Stafford, they had their parade today, and of course it's LA. There was nobody. There's a bunch of tweets about like nobody being in the parade route and all that. Well, there's an earlier clip of Stafford cracking open like his first beer on the parade route, and there's a tweet from Tom Brady saying, "If you don't remember last year, he got pretty tore up on that.
Yeah.
He tried to throw the damn trophy from one boat to another. He says, "Hey, be careful, coming from experience."
Yeah.
So then they fast forward, they show him at the stand at the end, and he's drinking that expensive tequila 1200. He's like, some Southern hospitality. He was having a good time.
Yeah, he did tweet. He said, "Mix in a water," if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, as he was smoking a cigar. So, yeah, I was surprised watching the game that they let them play the first 3 quarters. It seemed like. I mean, there was not, it was, we would call that good, clean football. Let them play, but the last 2-3 minutes just seemed like there was flag on every other play, and you kind of. Some good calls, some bad calls, some no calls, but
you're right. There was nothing egregious or just crazy like a guy pulling a guy down or like that. They could have let all them go, I think. The OBJ thing though, I mean, he got hurt. He was on pace. There's a lot of guys that did prop bets him getting like 65 or more yards, and I think he had 56 in the 2 minutes into the second quarter, and then goes down. He's out for 16 months, man. Next year, man, it's just terrible for the guy who's on a Senate, which. And he got his ring and he did get his incentives, but I don't think he had a contract for next year. So I'm kind of curious what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's got a little bit of quote unquote controversy, but he seems like a real genuine guy. When you see his teammates come hug him, and those are the guys that know him the best. So when they are like, "Hey, this is your moment, this is your time," so you got to feel bad for the guy. In a no contact,
he was killing it too. I mean. He was going to dominate that game, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I hate it for him, man.
I got a quick question for our super fan, Nostradamus. Give us your top teams for next year. Who you think's going to, if you had 4 teams to pick from 2 teams from each conference, who you think's going to make it next year?
Man, there's a lot of free agency that'll happen between now and next year. But if I got to guess, I'll say Kansas City will be one of the top teams in the AFC again. Don't see a whole lot of change there. San Diego, not Buffalo. I'll go Buffalo be the other team because I don't see that they're going to lose a whole lot of guys. Their offensive coordinator did just leave. I think he got a job somewhere else. Saw that on the news.
Chiefs and Bills will play each other in the Super Bowl.
The who?
You said the Chiefs and the Bills in the Super Bowl?
He was talking about one conference. I said top 4.
He said top 4. I know, dude. Don't try to get on me. I got you. Football's a sport. I watch it. Now, if you were to ask about baseball, I wouldn't know.
But axe throwing is a sport too.
Axe throwing is a sport. NFC would be, I would have to go with Tampa Bay once Jimmy G goes there and takes them to the Super Bowl. And I don't know, man. Philadelphia. I'll just throw something crazy out there.
I do like when you led into this. There's so many movements with, top tier quarterback. You got Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson.
Rodgers could go to like to Tennessee or something like that, and they're immediately, a top favorite, I think, in the AFC.
I read today that Deshaun Watson wants to go to Tampa Bay. I mean, do you think he goes there and some of those veterans stick around? I mean, with that caliber of defense, and could be really good. What do you think, Timmy?
So just like he said, as far as I think it has a lot to do with quarterback moves. I'll say that more than anything else. Burrow, and the draft. There's free agency. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, the Bengals shore up their offensive line. I mean, why would you not think they're going to be in the AFC Championship next year? The AFC's loaded. I think San Diego makes moves. The Bills and KC are still going to be there. But if I'm picking the 2 out of the AFC, I would go the Bills, and I'm going to reach out and say the Chargers. I think the Chargers break through next year. Their coach made he was a guy going for 2 every time, and you got to catch the ball, all that stuff. But I think he's learned a little bit, and another year under his belt. And Herbert, man, he's a stud, and they got that kid out of Northwest, Slater, is their offense line stacked. They're a good team, Bosa boy. So I'll pick them as the surprise out of AFC, and then the NFC I'll take. I think somebody is going to come out of the East in the NFC Championship game, and even though I hate to say it, but I think the Cowboys finally get to the NFC Championship game, and they'll play. And this is again with Rodgers. I think Rodgers gets to that game again, and I'll have him at Green Bay doing it. I got Green Bay and and then I'll have Green Bay in the Super Bowl versus the Bills. I think the Bills take it next year. And
Solid bet.
Yeah.
I'll give you my top two. I won't go in top four. I think San Francisco has got a lot, especially defensive wise. And then you see Debo, what he can do. I don't think Jimmy G's a problem. They just had a tough schedule, had some, early injuries. So I think San Francisco, and my surprise pick for next year would be the Patriots. I think Mac Jones, year two. I mean, Bill Belichick in the draft. He already knows what pieces he needs, and I think the Patriots, they were really close this year to making it. But I just think they'll be a complete team. But I think San Francisco squeaks one out next year against New England in Arizona, right? It's in Arizona. I don't think the Cardinals make it.
No. I'll back up though on your page. I don't think the Patriots make it. This is why they play in that division with the Bills. So they may make the playoffs. I say may, the Patriots, but they're going to have to do it on the road. I don't think they're built for that. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
To each its own, right?
The Patriots are going to beat the Bills in their division.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
I mean, they split with them this year, right?
Well,
they did. They played in a game
that
had 80 mile an hour winds, and Mac Jones threw the ball 4 times?
Three. I had him as my fantasy quarterback.
Man, that don't count.
And they won like 12-3.
Yeah.
What do you mean don't count? That's football. If we need to have a topic about Super Bowls being hosted at like whoever wins the Pro Bowl, that team, that conference hosts the Super Bowl. I don't like this neutral location, even though the Rams hosted it. I think
that's all to do with like new stadiums.
I know, but
Vegas is gonna get it. Man, when Vegas has it, that's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, but Timmy had a big week. Last night you picked up a victory.
Yeah, so I'm in this. So as you guys, as our Tensor listeners know, I race open wheel. It's called Sim Racers Edge, and I do that on Thursday nights. I also dabble in some NASCAR vehicles with fenders, and so and I don't do much of that. And I'm still trying to learn it. I think I've been doing it since like the fall. So it's called the Western States Racing League. It's obviously we talked about earlier. It's late night, and it's on the West Coast. I am by no means worthy of the competition in that league. They're stacked. It's a long race. I think it was I don't know, 170 miles or something like that, and qualified pretty high. I was top 10, and then raced along, and then through pit stops and a couple pit stops and some incidents and things like that. I moved to the back, but there's some cars gone, so I'm in like 20th place with 70 to go. We had a yellow flag come out, and since I was towards the back, there was 3 cars behind me on the same lead lap. I pitted and then pitted again, because basically when you get a caution, you'll have 2 to 3 laps where you just drive around under caution. Knew it was going to be close on fuel, so I pitted the last with 1 to go, came out, and my teammate Bentley Glasser tells me, hey, you think you can make it? And you got a little thing on there, and it gives you an estimate on your fuel mileage, meaning it'll tell you what your average is for the last 2 laps, the whole race, things like that. It's hard to justify, but it says that I was going to be like 2 gallons short. So I decided if I was going to have any chance of finishing top 5 in this race, I was going to take it easy. And he told me, hey, when you go into one, just instead of feathering the gas, let off entry and then rolling through that corner. But you can roll it through down low and then come out. 1, it saves your tires. 2, it saves gas. And then 3, it was making me faster. So then I was moving through the field. Got down to like 20 to go, and everybody else started spitting that last pit stop because we went green from there, and I just stayed out. And I had the lead for the last 30 laps. The commentators, which you guys will see are here. They kept saying, he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. When he pits, the lead's going over to so and so, and I just kept trucking around and got that win. And them wins are tough to come by. I've never had a win in any NASCAR league. I was super excited. It was my first race in our paint scheme. I had 2 Hicks, 1 Yankee on the back of the truck and Propart Homes and Mission 22. So I was super excited about that. Had the interview and couldn't do burnouts though, which stunk because I didn't have no fuel, man. I went past the start finish and couldn't do burnouts. So it was, man, I was so excited. And again, it didn't get over till I know I didn't text. I don't think I texted Brian because it was late, but
You think I go to bed early?
you go to bed a little early. I don't want to make a chance that, which I know you don't leave your phone on, something like I should have. But
So Timmy, do y'all have spotters, people that are watching like from a different view than y'all, and tell you that, hey, somebody, whatever that like they do in
so you'll have so there's different spotters you can load that are they're not real spotters, they're digital spotters. So they'll tell you like car low, but they're not always accurate. And you can get, they have like a cuss package where you can get Jimmy Johnson's crew chief, and it's a cuss package, curse at you and say da da da. So you get them on there, but they're not going to help. There's other programs you can do for fuel and stuff like that, but they're not ever accurate. So I don't use them. But basically it's basically a gauge that goes on there, and it just tells me where I'm at on fuel and how many. You only get so many in that league. You only get so many tires. Meaning you can only change tires 3 times, which comes into play in them long races. They're fun as hell, man. As you can see,
I just want to say I'll spot for you in a race.
I like
silence. For you lifting weights. I got you, buddy.
So we do go into like Discord, and there's groups, so the teammates, and that's what I was talking about. Bentley Glasser, he's telling me, hey, and then he was telling me my lap times compared to his lap times getting later in the race, and he goes, dude, you're fast. Being fast with that many laps on my tires and things like that, and I had an 11-second lead. He goes, you keep that up. Just gave me that confidence boost, and I was like, oh yeah, yes. And went through and didn't make any mistakes and finished that race because it's fun, man. I enjoy it. Some of them guys race 6 nights a week, and these ain't like video game races as far as time. They usually do 50 to 75% of actual like NASCAR races. I mean, they're long, 175 miles. They're long races.
I did see they on the recap of the show, they showed an inside of your cabin view, and it was pretty cool. I wish we could play the clip because I don't know.
For those watching YouTube, and you'll hear some sound on it. The video wasn't done before we came live to it, but you guys will see it.
Yeah, we'll put it out on all social media because, Timmy gives
and you can show your hands move and all that stuff. Yeah.
The announcers were really good too. I will say that.
Not the British one we had last time, and now we got the Southern boys.
I still think they're pretty good. So
they are good. They're really good.
I just, I would love to see what kind of view they have, because like when there's a wreck, they instantaneously switch to the wreck to give an overview of the wreck. I was like,
that Iracing server's
pretty cool. Yeah.
They have different, you can create cameras in that thing where you can get different angles of tracks where, like for some of these guys that do these productions, there's some that are very expensive. Again, they're on MSNBC. They broadcast races, and they can give you different views, change angles on the cameras. They can do anything you do. They can do more because they have more camera angles. So they can go back and rewind. Yeah,
Rachel Maddox is on MSNBC. I mean, come on. It doesn't take a lot to get on MSNBC.
I'm sorry. It wasn't MSNBC. It's NBC Sports.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like when we had the COVID thing, there was no NASCAR for a little while. And during that time, they had the actual NASCAR guys race on TV live on that thing. It was funny because when you're racing that, I forget what's his name, but he's racing, but he works for Fox or NBC, whoever it was. And he's in his house, in his garage racing, and he's got the Fox guys, like the commentators, talking to him while he's trying to race. It's impossible to do that with all these people talking to you, so you're right. It's funny to watch.
When you go into the pits, is it like a standard time for everybody? Because I know seconds matter, but
right. So as far as that comes, yeah. So when you actually get in your pit box, you can do 2 tires, 4 tires, the fuel that's going to take the time away, but there's not mistakes so much as in the pits.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you get options too? Can you be like, I only need splash and dash kind of fuel?
Yeah, but the same way you would do on, in real life. But coming in, they have the big thing with that is they have speed limit. So coming in, If you're speeding, you get a black flag, and
Yeah.
that's what usually costs me races. A lot of times is pit stops because you got to
Sounds like-
practice that stuff, be repetitive, and you got to practice.
Absolutely. It sounds like some Mario Kart shit right there. Practice. Be competitive.
Running through the grass to slow down to get in
Yes.
the pit.
Yes. So it's just like my dedication to Mario Kart practice, you know?
Have you ever run a truck race?
Me?
No, Timmy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I started in the fall. So I've done a few of them, but not as many. I mean, these guys, some of these guys have never been there. This league's season 24 or something like that, which there's 2 seasons in a year. So, I mean, it's been around 12 years they've been racing this.
Yeah. So speaking of trucks, up our sister country to the north, we're in almost going on week 3 of the Freedom Trucker Convoy up in Ottawa, Canada, with the protest of the mandates. I know it's been plastered all over the news, and you get a different perspective on which news channel you watch when they compare what these truckers are doing as far as a protest and the levels. So interesting. What's your perspective on this, Brian?
That's a tough one, man. Like, I mean, I get why they're protesting, but I'll never forget in Durham, BLM would block the highway sometimes for those BLM protests. You don't talk about being pissed off as trying to get home from where you're going,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got a sitter you're paying for or something, and somebody's blocked the road, right? Like, that's aggravating as hell. I don't care which side of whatever you're protesting. If you're sitting in that traffic, you don't have a whole lot of sympathy saying, "Oh, I understand why they're doing what they're doing," right? Like, I'm just trying to get home to my wife and kids, or I'm trying to get home and pay the babysitter, right? I'm gonna get charged an extra hour.
Right.
So, I get it. I mean, I understand why they're doing it, and I may agree with their cause. I don't like blocking the damn highway, man, because I'm trying to get home.
You don't like inconveniencing the person that's trying to make a living and
Correct.
run a household. It'd be, I know they blocked the bridge coming into Detroit, which who wants to come into Detroit from Canada? Who really cares? But before I get Timmy's thoughts, I did find it interesting. Yeah, it's pretty cold up there, right? And these trucks are big, and they're blocking 3 wide, and I seen, they got people are leaving notes, like they're full blown camped on the road, and these trucks are still running. I understand they're diesel and they'll idle for a long time. They're meant to, idle, but where are they getting this fuel from?
People were bringing the fuel.
Right.
And then
I haven't seen it.
Then it started getting confiscated, right? Like, people were bringing these trucks fuel, and then the police and I don't know if it's police or the military, but I did see where they were confiscating the fuel and other resources that people were trying to bring in.
Let me back up. For as far as the protests, and I get it, they're blocking the bridge, and it's happening in other places. But this is it not in the national capital? I mean, they're doing it there. If you live in Washington D.C., there's protests there. I mean, if you live up there 365 days, there's probably protests. Maybe not shutting down the city like this is, but there is huge protests up there in the capital, and that's kind of expected. That's not the same as Durham, or as far as I believe. I think you live in the national capital. That's kind of part of the territory you're living in. Is there's going to be protests, there's going to be stoppages, and let's be honest, they probably work from home anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal. As far as they were calling them jerry cans, so they were bringing in fuel to them, and then the government said that, or the city said that they created a new policy that you couldn't walk around with red crayons, or cans, and so then social media went out and they're like, everybody go buy one of these. You don't have to put fuel in it, because I think there was a fine with it if you're carrying fuel or something like that. So then there's like 1 out of every 5 had fuel in them. So I mean, there's ways around it. They've been beaten down every time they come back with something. They believe in what they're standing for, and it's shut down the economy. And government's working hard to try to figure out how to fix this. It's not working right now.
Yeah.
And truckers up Canada, they move everything. There's no airports like they have in America. I mean, that stuff's transported by truck.
Yeah, it makes you realize how valuable our truckers are to North America. I mean, how much is really moved by freight? I mean, it's amazing.
Or air.
See.
I mean, yeah.
So Joe,
go ahead.
Joe, what do you think? What do you think about the protest?
Definitely agree with the cause. You know, I mean, the mandate is, we all know it's been disproven with everything you can say. I think there's some middle ground that's starting to be established with the last 2 years of this pandemic. I mean, it's just.
But wasn't Canada one of the? I mean, their country. They didn't say you couldn't leave, but if you left, you had to get quarantined for like 20 something days when you got back. Couldn't go to work. Things. That's what these people are. A lot of the things are fighting for, and it's went one step after that and one step after that, and it's like, we're a democracy, right? I mean,
yeah, but it started. It started when they passed the mandate for truckers going across the border. That's what started the whole thing. That's why it's the Freedom Convoy. It started in January because of the mandate that the Canadian government put on truckers. That's why they started this whole convoy protest, which gets back to, mandates are the problem. I think more people would get the vaccine if there wasn't a mandate. People don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody likes to be told what to do. If it wasn't for the mandate, I think more people would get the vaccine, but it's like mask. People don't want to wear a mask because you tell them they have to, but don't tell them they have to. Remember in the beginning, everybody was running out buying a mask. I mean, the very beginning of this thing, you couldn't find the mask because everybody was running out buying them.
It'd be if there was a different political party and the head political party was switched, I think it would still be the same amount of controversy, but it would just be interesting to see so many people's point of view and how they are skewed by taking their political. They want to say that's my belief system. Well, people are so politically charged these days that their vision gets skewed, I think.
And nobody wants. You can't take away that freedom of movement. You take that away. Now we've crossed a big, thick line that will slow down now. And that's what I was going back to as far as the flying. It was still leaving the country and coming back. Well, the truckers got involved because they finally said they had to have the vaccine card to come back. But I think that freedom of movement, Canada, they've been stuck up there for 2 years. They haven't been able to leave the country as a civilian. You can't go to Europe. You can't go to, Mexico. You live in Canada. It's cold, snowy. That winter, you need a vacation. Yeah. Like them guys, they travel way more international travel than United States as far as they go down to Mexico and, Florida and that kind of stuff. No, it's the goal to be locked up in your house.
Yeah. And here's the news flash. Truckers are spreading COVID. They're the real reason.
Stuck in a truck by themselves.
I mean, if you want to put a job where if you had COVID that you could work and not, it's the dude in the truck. He sleeps. He or she.
Unload me.
They can only drive 8 hours a day. 16 hours a day, they're stuck. I mean, wow. It's just, it'd be interesting to see what comes out of this as far as the mandates and political pressure. So
before we get off that topic, though, what about this the crowdfunding? I mean, that took a big
whoa.
Yes. When the government sees them as we're giving it to charities and they switch it now, you can get your money back, and then they went to a different one and then they got hacked. I mean, it's gone pretty deep.
Oh yeah, $9 million. Originally, GoFundMe said they were going to distribute it to charities of their choice. Then they caught so much.
Last 4 hours. They're like, "Oops, sorry."
Yeah. Oh, then you had to request a refund, and then they turned it back into an automatic refund. It's just.
And then people online are saying, "Don't request your refund. File a dispute."
You know why?
And then the dispute would get them in.
Did you see why they froze the money and wouldn't release it? They said it was an occupation. Yet, people who occupied Seattle, those GoFundMes, that's okay.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like,
But they don't believe in
It's terrorism.
hypocrisy. There's no hypocrisy on that side. It's just, when you think of millions of dollars, seriously.
Seriously.
So let's talk about millions and millions of dollars that just came out in the news. $73 million was awarded to the families of the Sandy Hook shooting from Remington, which there was a couple dozen kids where I don't have the numbers in front of me. I apologize, but it's 2012. 20 kids were and 6 adults were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School. They agreed to a $73 million settlement with Remington, who is the manufacturer of the Bushmaster AR-15, which was used in that slaughter, if you want to call it, for lack of a better term. It's crazy. I want to hear your thoughts, but I just want to see if y'all mention what I'm thinking about all this. So we'll start with Timmy with your thoughts on this.
First of all, I want to say it's a settlement, meaning that there was probably more money on the table, and that's what Remington agreed to settle to. That amount's huge. Second point is how we start. And I guess it's been going on a long time. You spill coffee in your lap, it's McDonald's fault that you spilled hot coffee. Is what do you want, cold coffee? I mean, this is America. It's been going on this way a long time. Lawyers and settlements are a big problem of it, where organizations, big places don't want to go and do this big court battle that's going to come over the news. It's going to give, you still got lawyers you're paying, things like that. And sometimes just settle, get that one article out, and then move on from there. As far as me,
Brian's shaking his head. He's got to speak. Go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead.
I have to. I want to let Tim finish.
I'm done. Go ahead.
You apparently do not know the true story behind the hot coffee spill at the McDonald's. It's obvious by the way you said that you don't know the story behind it. Story behind that settlement is the lady that had the coffee spilled on her. First of all, McDonald's was serving coffee at 220 degrees when the industry standard was something else. All she asked McDonald's to do was to pay
220 degrees.
Yeah. All she asked McDonald's to do was to pay her doctor bill. They refused and refused. She had to have skin grafts done on her leg, right? All she wanted was her doctor bills paid. They refused. She got a lawyer who sued them, and it was the jury, the people in judging the trial. The jury is the one that awarded her that money. She didn't ask for that much money.
Okay, so my apologies, but yes, we can go to other cases, and this happens a lot where people will settle before going to court because it's just more cost friendly to the organization and not such a PR nightmare. I mean, yeah, obviously I don't think the PR is going to, but at least it should be finalized now where it doesn't continue on. But
I don't dispute what you're saying. I don't dispute what you're saying. What I'm saying is that case is a little different, and what you're saying I agree with. Like, next thing you're going to read is someone is suing Kraft cheese because they're fat, right? Like, that's where it's leading. I get that, but that case is a little different. Just so you know.
So what's your thoughts on the Sandy Hook settlement?
Yeah.
Not about McDonald's. We want your Sandy Hook settlement.
I'm a gun owner and, support gun rights. To me, it's like saying the spoon makes someone die of diabetes, or, the alcohol is what makes someone decide to drink and drive, or the car is what allowed them to crash head on into somebody else, right? Where does it stop? You're going to sue Nokia because they created a cell phone and people are texting and driving? That's my thoughts. And I see Joel's hands over his head. He must disagree.
Well, I just want to tell you how disappointed I am in both of y'all.
Oh, that
right
we
now.
Didn't. Go ahead.
Y'all didn't, obviously, all the links I put in this spreadsheet, you did not read. Because you don't understand what the settlement was for. Because it has nothing to do with the AR. It has nothing to do with the Second Amendment.
Well, first of all, you sent a New York Times link that I had to pay for to read, so I didn't do that one.
I had the same thing when you sent the New York Times link.
So there we go, right there.
Well, the second link. So here's what I thought there's always more to the story for the most part. So here's what the settlement was about. The families claim Remington marketed the rifle to at-risk young males by running an ad that featured a rifle and the phrase, "Consider your man card reissued." Remington, which has since gone bankrupt since the shooting, denied its marketing was connected to the shooting. So it had really nothing to do with the style of weapon that was used. It was the settlement was that they convinced, or they felt that there was enough evidence of this mark. It's kind of like you don't see a cigarette ad anymore. There's a warning label now. You don't see any cigarette ads, right? We all
But they were
grew up.
speaking the truth. They were speaking the truth. I mean, how many real men do you know that don't own a gun?
I mean,
for our tens of listeners out there that own a gun, you can still be a real man.
I would
according
say
to a Yankee,
versus
a Yankee, you can be a real man. Not according to a Hick. As a Hick, you must own a firearm to be a real man.
Oh, I understand. Most of us own. No one owns their own. Well, I have a couple axes, but no throwing axes. I just thought that was a key bit to the conversation. It was about the marketing of, like Timmy led into. There was probably a whole lot more money on the table. It was kind of probably like Group A gave a number, Group B gave a number, and they kind of met in the middle. So you would think the families were probably asking in the hundreds of millions, and they settled for 73 million. But it was interesting. It was just about how it's marketing, because like you guys, y'all watch a lot of TV, maybe not so many commercials, but I don't know if I've ever seen an AR-15 commercial or Bushmaster saying.
But it could be like a poster somewhere. I mean, that's still advertising. It wasn't a commercial, right? It was advertising.
True. Well, it says running. It says
and if they're
running
bankrupt, how are they doing a settlement if they're bankrupt?
I know. I mean, this is 10 years ago too.
Real quick before I lose track, you talk about being a man with owning a weapon. My middle son recently, at the end of January, turned 21, and I was like, "Hey, I'll take you to the strip club. We get." Dad already had my first drink at restaurant or whatever. He didn't get carded, and he's like, "I don't need to do that. I don't want to go to the strip club. I don't want to go to the casino. What do you want to do? Was go get a gun." So like he turned 21. That's what he wanted to do. He's like, "I want to go get a gun." I was like, "Well, let's go."
Oh, my kids, all my kids they got their first gun at 12 or
you want a pistol?
Don't know how to shoot. Oh yeah. I mean, but I'm saying I took them all to the range at 12 and earlier.
He's at the range a lot. He wants his own gun.
I mean, going back to our previous episodes, I mean, sounds like you're teaching your boys to shoot when they're like 4 or 5 because they beat an IndyCar racer in Nerf gun. I mean, it's
out of 3 of us, Timmy B finished last. I was first.
Wasn't even close, to be honest.
Wasn't close.
I still podium.
You know what they say about Yankees?
It just proves that Brian's not the best athlete in his house. His 5-year-old, his youngest boy, is the best.
No. I beat him too. I was first. They were second. Tim was third. Real athlete right here, bro. Get it right.
Get it right. So past week was Valentine's Day. Brian, we do a MILF section. Man, I love food. Heard you had an interesting dinner. Can you tell us about it?
So yes, I did. For the very first time in my life, I shucked an oyster. Never in my life have I done an oyster, but I said, hey, tonight's the night. We paid for a very nice dinner. Got quite the story for that if you need to hear it. But yeah, tried an oyster, man. It was different, but if we do another guy strip and y'all want to go to an oyster bar, I ain't scared. I'll go.
What was where'd you eat at?
How many did you have, first of all?
2. I ate 2. And they were covered in. Why are you laughing, bro?
Tell us the restaurant first.
It wasn't a restaurant. It was like a bottle and can shop in Cary. They have these things where I don't know if y'all have seen them on Eventbrite, where like these chefs, these award-winning chefs, will go to places and set up and do this and that. So it's one of those spots, man. It's inside a bottle and can shop.
So if you don't mind, I mean,
I've never seen that.
I want to know what this event price was. I mean, what kind of chef we talking about? This is expensive. And how come you only got 2?
And
so it's all you paid for? One
you
ticket?
only had 2. And what were some of the unique toppings, please? We need to know. Viewers need to know.
All right. So for our tens of listeners, but let me tell you this, and then I'll tell you some of the other things on the menu and the toppings. So the Eventbrite was listed at $150. And I was like, all right, I've taken my wife to a nice restaurant. $150. These are personal,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sounds reasonable. Came with wine, 3 appetizer course. It's like a 4 or 5 course meal. Figured it was worth it. Next morning, I wake up to an email from the organizer who says, hey, didn't want to say anything last night, but there was 2 of y'all. You only paid for 1. It was $300. I had to send her another $150 because luckily she didn't bust me out on
right at dinner.
Yeah.
Well, Dine and Dash, prove it.
Yeah. So
wait,
but it said
when you left that night when you're like $150, that was worth it.
It was
in the morning at $300.
No, it wasn't worth $300. But it said a couple's meal. So in the tickets, I paid for 1. She emails me. It's like, didn't want to say anything, but that's per person. $300
for couple. It's Valentine's Day. That was a marketing scheme that kind of got you, by the way.
Yeah,
they what'd you call it earlier? Bamboozled you.
Yeah,
so,
tomfoolery.
We talked about being cheated earlier in the episode. I mean, did you not call them out? Be like, hey,
well,
you cheated me. They thought you were going to invite yourself to Valentine's Day event.
So of course, I'm glad I ate everything because I found out the next day that I was paying for everything. Like I bought half the store. So yeah, so the oysters were covered with beets. It's like a beet and a beet juice. Why are you making that face, Tim? For our audio listeners, can't see your face, and you're likely going to spit your drink. What?
I have one question.
disgusting.
I have one question. Is this the first raw oyster you've ever eaten? I know you said you've shucked your first oyster.
Yeah, that's the first oyster I've ever had in my entire life.
And it was covered with beet juice.
And juice, beet juice.
Yes, beet. Well, it had beets on it. In the first one, I took the whole thing and like it hurt in my chest because they were like really small cut up pieces, like about that big. And it hurt in my chest. So I scraped them off for the second one and still did the oyster though. Yes.
Did you get this menu ahead of time?
No kidding.
Yes, but in my defense, I thought it was you choose one of these items. I didn't know they were going to bring all 3 appetizers to you. I thought I was going to get there and I was going to choose the shrimp.
So it said
it was $300. They better bring
oysters with beet juice. Can we get a copy?
But I wasn't going to pick that. It had shrimp. I was going to eat the shrimp, which I did eat the shrimp too. I thought you just picked one of the 3 appetizers because it listed all 3. But it had the 2 solid lines like that.
That's some Hicks stuff right there.
No, it had the 2 solid lines, so I thought it was a choice. I didn't know it was you're going to get all 3. I just thought that you picked one. And I was going to pick shrimp. It's safe. But, yeah, I got all 3. I ate all 3. I can't remember what the third one was, but, yeah.
That's a great night. I hope you enjoyed. My one question is, did the $300 include a tip, or did she have to tip afterwards?
So there was no tip. That's so when you buy something off Eventbrite, it's just a ticket. You go in, they don't give you any other check. But
I just Googled beet juice on, and Google came up with beet juice on roads, beet juice on empty stomach, beet juice on icy roads. What's up with beet juice on roads?
I just don't understand that combination. I mean,
Oh, skin. I've never ever heard of it.
you sure it wasn't hot sauce?
Positive, man. This was like Bushi stuff. These were award-winning chefs.
Beet
They
juice
like,
is not bougie by any means.
he said, I told the chef, because it's a very small spot, I was like, it's the first time I've ever had an oyster. Wasn't that bad, man. It's actually pretty good. And he's like, well, you just had the Cadillac of oysters. It comes from wherever. Don't remember what he said, but yeah, man.
I'm an oyster
not the Bugatti,
fan.
not the Porsche.
Oysters,
Lamborghini.
Rockefeller. I mean, I do like oysters. Some steamed oysters or fried oysters, but never covered with beet juice. But for $150, what else did you get?
I had some shrimp. Had some really good beef tenderloin. There was a dessert that it wasn't that good. It was like really fudge pudding or something. It was not good. And there was a glass of wine with each course that came. So like 4 glasses of wine.
Was a wine red? What? I mean, obviously red, right?
So no. There was 2 white. Well, first course was champagne, then a white, then 2 reds. Yeah.
The most important question is: Did your wife have a good time?
My wife had a great time. And speaking of, man, just if I can take 1 second and say, hey,
yeah,
super proud of my wife. Today was her last day in the military. She finished up her career, retired. She is a great mom, great example for our children, and a great wife. So super proud of her.
Another member of the group. We only got one left, Mr. Grump.
That's right.
I have to give the boss lady a shout out. The only thing better than getting that picture of her with the sign with her last day, if she was wearing like a prison striped uniform with a ball and chain, that she's breaking out of it, because she had a great career, great job, but I know she was ready. I mean, I know her quality, like all of us, our quality of life, I think, increased dramatically when we took that uniform off for the final time. So,
yep, she got her fingernails done today. They're like all
oh, there you go. She gets more time home.
I have a question about the fingernail. Does she have one fingernail that was like a different color?
She didn't do that thing. I don't know. I don't think. I didn't see any different colors. They were all this really bright red. She was making sure people knew that today was the first day she could get those nails done, and they weren't going to have to worry about taking it off.
Camouflaged.
Yep.
Well, I mean, she only has a few more weeks left at her job, so I know going back to work, being in a much more relaxed environment is going to be it's healthy for her. So.
Trophy wife, new job, trophy wife.
Yeah.
You sent a text. And
we all outkicked our coverage. Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Yeah. Well, it's like they say, it's not that I am a horseman or I'm extremely wealthy. I'm just that awesome that I could land a chick like her.
Great personality.
Has to be something, right?
Athlete. He's Nostradamus, and he's a super fan. What's not to love about this guy?
True.
Total package. Right?
Axe thrower.
Axe thrower.
So we're winding this thing up a little bit, but before we go, doing our standard, I got some words of wisdom. Sorry, I'm not getting choked up. Anybody watch the Olympics?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some pretty cool things going on. I can't believe, watching these guys fly and gals fly through the air, the amount of impact they land and their whole bodies don't fall apart. You guys watch that?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of curling, and there were some athletes there. The dude's got the mullet and the big old mustache for US. Dude, gut hanging over.
I'm a bobsledding fan, man. The bobsledding is what I think is.
It is pretty. Crazy. It's crazy. I watch the luge. I know we're getting off, but just the luge. They're doing 80 miles an hour on a sled. I mean, that's
getting airborne for a while and then coming back down.
how do they stop that thing? You know, it's just like they lift up and got a rudder. It's just, but there was, so we use the analogy making sausage in life. I know it's, some of us know what that means, but you know, everybody, I don't know many people that don't like to taste the sausage, right? The end product of sausage. But when you look at how sausage is made, if you ever witnessed what all goes into it, not that the ingredients are nasty, just the whole process. It's not very pleasing to the eye. You know, it's, if we think of processes in our life, that part is terrible. You know, it's just pretty gruesome. But to see the end product, you're like, man, you know, that makes that process worth it to see the end part. But when I relate it back to the Olympics, there was the snowboarding tandem. It was a male. I don't have my notes pulled up, but it was a male and a female from the United States. Basically, they snowboard and they, you know, all the males, you do time trials, top two from each time trial qualify. So you got 4 countries going against each other, and it's basically the guys go first and they race snowboards and they're flying. I mean, this thing is, it's amazing, the course and how they can stay up and generate speed on how they move. And basically the guys go first, and any advantage they have goes to the girls or the women that are racing separate. So if Canada, United States finishes a second ahead, the women get that second start advantage. Normally, if it's really close, the advantage doesn't really, it normally comes down to experience. Brian, you got to stop. But here's what I'm getting to. The guy, I need to see your face so I can finish this, right? All right, so what I was talking about is the guy that won it. He was he had raced the night before. He was the heavy favorite to win it and didn't even medal, right? He had been in the Olympics in 2010, 2014. This is his 4th or 5th Olympic. You guys are ruining my moment here. What I'm saying is, the guy, 2010, 14, 18, and now 22. He's raced that many times and has never had a medal. Failed every time, and he never quit. Right?
In curling?
So,
what sport are we talking about?
Snowboarding.
Oh, snowboard.
Yeah, he's a snowboard racer. Tandem, male, female. He was a heavy favorite to win it individually. Didn't win and was crushed. Like went on, like just cried the whole time during his interview because he let
which country
his family. He's from the United States. 40 years old, 5th Olympics, fourth or 5th Olympics, and you know it just makes you think he and she won the gold together. He went out first. He won by just a half a second or so. When the next race went on, she and the rest of the country or rest of the world started. She had a slight advantage and lost the advantage, but she overtook the winner right there at the end. So, you know, it just makes you reflect on how many times this guy failed. You know, he's at the top of his game for the United States and failed in 2010, 14, 18, and had how long he stuck with it just to get to this point. So when I refer,
words of wisdom are never give up.
never give. Yeah, it just makes you wonder what part he enjoyed the most. Was it winning the gold or the process? If he hadn't failed so many times, would the success he had been so great for him and his family, is what I'm trying to say. I know that was long and interrupted a few times, but you know, you think how many times we failed and how our failures defined us, and people are so afraid of failure. I think you look at us is how we measure our success is we don't count our failures as an end point. And, that's a learning experience for us. We learn from our failures and they motivate us to succeed is what I'm trying to say, Brian.
No, even in this podcast, I mean, go listen to episode 1 compared to maybe not the end of this episode, but last week's, the week before, we did some good stuff.
I agree. I don't know why you kept saying my name in that whole thing. I don't.
We put the mask back on next time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
Yes,
gonna
next
dip
time-
out, I'd rather just see you laugh and giggle the whole time.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Next time you do words of wisdom, I'm wearing the mask. I think that'll help. But I do get what you're saying, and I do use the expression "nobody wants to see how the sausage is made" quite frequently.
Yeah.
Not sure how that relates to never giving up, but I do. I got both of those. I got what you said. Bam.
Well, the sausage part related to the end product of.
Tim started it. He started laughing.
Well, when you think of how much this guy's been through, all the bad part, which is the sausage making, to the good part of eating the sausage, is when he won the gold. It's just.
Yeah, but you said that's not what you had talked about. You didn't know which you liked more, getting the gold or all the effort.
The process.
The process of all the quote unquote failures, which is the making of the sausage to win,
I didn't know what subject you were talking about, so it took me a while to catch up because I thought we were talking about curling still.
No, that's why I'm saying I wish I had my notes up, but.
Well, I get it. I think you're a very wise guy. Not a wise guy like the wise guy. I think that you're very wise. I like your words of wisdom. I get what you were saying. Did you? Oh, I thought you flipped me off.
No, my nose position. I'm sorry. Sometimes I don't do the best.
I was being genuine. I was being sincere and genuine. I think you're a very wise guy. You're one of my best friends, and I ask for advice all the time.
You're inspirational, man. You've inspired me a million times, and we love your words of wisdom. It's just it took you a little longer to get there.
It did. I did. I contemplated using the sausage reference. I'm not going to lie to you. I was
then you went right into the Olympic guy, and I was like, "Where's the words of wisdom coming at?"
We got in my head. I didn't skip forward as much. I want to be honest with you. You
didn't skip forward as much. You talked about it for 12 minutes. How did you not skip forward?
I'm sorry.
Sausage and then tandem snowboard.
Right. Yep. I apologize. This is one of my favorite parts of the episode. Like I'm always thinking about words of wisdom, whether I should be serious or change it up, but I love what we got going on here. So I want to, if somebody listens and they can relate, and even how stupid I might sound.
You don't sound stupid.
No, you sounded awesome. I mean, we enjoyed it a little bit too much is the problem.
Yeah. But it was a pretty cool moment to see that guy. I hate that his family couldn't be there because it's in China. Oh Lord, man. But for everything he's been through, the night before, he was, like I said, he was the heavy favorite to get his first medal, and he really.
Is this the racing, or is this is the racing downhill, like with
it?
Yeah.
Snowboard. I don't know if you're talking about like the half pipe. I didn't watch events. I was kind of lost on.
Yeah, it's snowboard racing. Basically, they go through an course,
yeah,
4 at a time.
Other guys, gotcha.
Yep.
And they beat each other up. It's almost like hockey, as far as like they're banging each other. They have jumps. There's no tricks though, so it's just speed.
Well, there's a few jumps. Like the first, when they start out, they go through whoop-de-doos.
Right, they don't get like graded by judges or anything like that. It's
no, it's whoever finishes first
at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And so that time is carried over and then the females.
That's correct. Yep. And even though the American guy finished first, when she started first, the other girl got the whole shot on her, and she was behind. So there was right until the end, she like drafted this girl, and then she just went right around her and won. And you can see him at the bottom waiting to see her come over that final jump, because I don't know if they have a monitor or whatever and can see the race, but
And you're also talking about like they leave the chute. Like if she's got a second lead from the guy, she just waits in the chute for a second, or she goes out a second before everybody else.
That's correct. Yeah, their chutes are gauged on their handicap.
So that way you have the drama of the finish.
Yeah, it's cool. It's one of the cooler Olympic events because
that and packet sausage.
That's right.
It's like the other. It's like the other side of the pillow.
Right, and we would never eat sausage with beet juice.
Never.
Why not?
Never. I've tasted beet juice. I think I was sick or something.
I
don't remember why, but maybe that don't help with constipation, right?
I don't think I've ever voluntarily eaten a beet.
You guys are so judgmental. You guys are like where I used to be until I tried stuff like that. You're so judgmental. You never even tried an oyster with beet juice, yet you're judging it. You know what else?
I want you to know that. I want you to know that. Please try them again, the oysters without beet juice, and then make a fair assessment of what you thought of them.
Yeah, but do you eat them just like that, or do you put
add hot sauce? There's people that steam them and you eat them just right out.
How do you eat yours, Joel? Is it just hot sauce or just plain? Just plain oyster.
Well, let me ask you this: you said you ate 2? Did they give you more than 2?
No. There was only 2 as an appetizer.
Okay.
For $300, was there a pearl in the middle of them, motherfuckers?
There was beets.
I would rather have the pearl for $300.
Slurp it in? I mean, was it on ice?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's on ice. It's on ice. Just right now, man.
You know what? Did they give you like a bunch of silverware? Or did they just bring you one and then take it away and then one? And
dude, I mean, you got a lot of questions. Next year, spend $150 and go, or take your wife. It costs you $3. I mean, yeah. Writing a book report. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I like a real oyster bar where they shuck them and give them to you. It's kind of like bottomless oysters, steam fried. I enjoy it when they're in season. Yeah, definitely when they're in season.
Let me ask you a question about it. When you say shuck them, it means they've already like what? You
still got to shuck them.
No, I mean, I thought that was when you like took it like a shot.
No, shuck them's when they open
the butter knife thing, and you pop them up.
So you didn't shuck your own oyster. It was
no. I just did like a shot. I did like a shot. 2 of them.
These are fresh. There's no beet juice in them. You open them up and they're clean.
Yeah, you're sitting at like a full bar, and the oysters are all on ice in front of you, and the guy walks by and he has an oyster, a shucker, and he shucks them for you and puts them on your platter. They're as fresh as can be.
I mean, I do it now. I ain't scared. I tried.
Better without beet juice, I think.
Yeah.
But never tried them with beet juice.
Again,
I don't want to judge.
You're a judgmental person.
The Cadillac oysters.
You didn't hear me judging Sandy Japala about her husband taking the kid in. You know, I'm not a judger.
Do you think she's eating oysters in Florida?
Not a chance.
I don't think so.
Doubt it. Is it gluten free?
Do you think she's wearing a family Disney shirt?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if that couple, I bet if they went to that event that you went to, and the lady came up while they were there, that she would have to leave and go outside because there was no $150 for him. Can I get a to-go box?
I just don't see her waiting long lines to ride some of these Disney rides. I just don't see that happening. I hope she's having a great time down there with Israel.
Yep, we hope you're having fun, Sandy.
Yeah. So, fellas, I've thoroughly enjoyed tonight. Highlighted my week. Any closing thoughts, Brian?
Yeah, I think you did a great job running the number 1 chair. I think you did awesome. I greatly enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun tonight. So yeah, man, appreciate that. Follow us on Twitter, 2 Hicks, 1 Yankee. Take the poll. We got another day and a half left. Right now, Tom Hanks is winning. Denzel Washington's running a close second. And Donnie Wahlberg is dead last. Donnie's. I think Donnie's had one vote. So please go vote Friday when this episode publishes. Vote Denzel. I think is the better actor of the two top runners right now. So thanks a lot, Joel.
It's if there's any listeners, please go back and hear why Donnie Wahlberg is on this poll. It's very confusing to myself. But Timmy, you got a race coming up?
Yeah. So on tomorrow it's a road course race. I'm terrible at that. So, I'm not looking forward to any good news coming out of that. But then I got another truck race next week. So hopefully next week I can bring back a top 5 finish or something like that. I will tell the listeners on Spotify and our podcast channels, we do talk about stuff with video, and there's some laughing moments we have. Them laughing moments will be caught on YouTube in smaller clips, and our YouTube channel is 2 Hicks 1 Yankee. That's the number 2 Hicks, number 1 Yankee with no spaces. Check us out. We're on there. There'll be some stuff we put out on short clips again on our TikTok.
Yeah, for our tens of listeners, I do encourage you, go to YouTube, pull up the race, go to the chat, give Timmy a shout out, number 21 car. Normally the announcers will read the chat, so it's pretty fun. I enjoy watching it. It's not, I don't think it's super long, but it's pretty entertaining. So just want to give one more shout out to our veterans spotlight. Purple Heart Homes and I know Timmy sports them on the car. We all know in our circle, Dale Beatty, John Galena, why that organization was formed and all the good things they do. Fortunately, past few days was anniversary of Dale's passed away in 2018. So good dude. Hopefully he's in a better place than we are at, and he definitely has a long and lasting impact for all of us. So, great show tonight. Can't wait till the next one, and I really think we should amend the poll because it should be Kevin Costner or Billy Bob Thornton. I'm just gonna say that on record. I never said put Donnie Wahlberg on the poll. Never said that.
Not those exact words.
No.
Close enough.
So will be another poll coming out. Maybe we do an elimination stage to see which actor is the best or actress. But until next week, it's 2 Hicks, 1 Yankee, or tonight was 1 Hick, 1 Yankee, and 1 dinosaur. Hashtag. Great times.